Do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to a special edition of the Jolley Marriage Show, a special edition by the fact that I am by myself for the second week in a row. My beautiful bride, Dee, who usually sits next to me, is not here because this is a special edition where we're speaking to men, or I'm speaking to men. Now, women can listen. A lot of women listened last week and have sent such great responses and comments, but we got a lot of men. Woo, did we get a lot of men who listen more than I think ever before. So the consensus was let's finish the second half of the book. I got the first half done from a man's perspective, but they said we got to get the rest of it, particularly the section on sex and romance. So we're going to do that. First of all, for those who might be first timers, I want to welcome you. I'm Dr. Willie Jolley. I'm the co-author of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. My bride and I, Dee, have been married for going on 40 years. Yeah, it'll be 40 years in June. And haven't had an argument in over 38 years. And people are always amazed when we tell them that. They say, you don't argue, never argue. One guy said, all you got is green lights. You never have no red lights. Brother Daniel out of Chicago said that. He said, you got nothing but green lights. Come on, man, you can't have all green lights. That's not possible, but it is possible to not argue. I didn't say we have all green lights. We have some stop signs, some red lights, some yellow caution lights. We just don't argue because we figured out a system that would allow us to disagree without arguing. And so that's what we do. Our friends, the Kazeras, are here watching from the OBX, from Outer Banks. We love the Outer Banks. We go there annually. So thank you. I hope y'all having a great time. Have a great Thanksgiving. That's for everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving this week, and blessings to all you and your families. And may God bless you mightily and your families with good health, good wealth, good relationships, and good family dynamics and good futures. So I hope all have a great Thanksgiving. We're looking forward to Thanksgiving. The family is going to be together, and we're grateful for that. Now, let's get into this week's message. We know that statistics show, and interesting, my pastor, John Kenneth Jenkins, senior of the First Baptist Church of Glen Arden, on Sunday talked about the ABCs of family, and he talked about the fact that 41% of first marriages in America break up, 63% of second marriages divorce, and 70% of third marriages. He said, and the marriages situation is having all sorts of challenges. Much of that comes from the dynamics of the husband and the wife and not being able to communicate. That's what the marriages break up for one of three reasons: sex, money, communication. And if the communication is viewed closely, you'll see that's really the common denominator for all of the issues that we see happening in marriages, is the communication or lack thereof. If you had good communication, you would have better sex and romance life. Had good communication, you have better money management. And so communication. My friend John Hope Bryant is my guest on my Sirius XM show this week. I encourage you to listen tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, Tuesday night, channel 141. I interview him, and he talks about how his family got disrupted because of communication or lack thereof and money. His mother had saved $4,000, scrimped and saved to put that money toward her older first child's college education. Her husband took the money and, air quotes, invested it and lost it without telling her, without communicating with her, and that was how he operated. He never communicated with her about the finances, even though she was the better money manager. He could had the ability to make money. He was a dynamic entrepreneur, but he didn't have money management skills, or as John Hope Bryan said, he didn't have financial literacy. So that destroyed their marriage. And so what we want people to do is communicate better. So we're going to go through. I'm going to give a quick review of last week's point of each chapter a little bit, and then I'm getting to the big chapter. We got a limited time. Let's go. Oh, by the way, for those who want to know where they can get the book, they can get it at jolleymarriage.com, and also can see the TED Talk. They are absolutely free. The TED Talk is free on how to never ever argue again in marriage, and then you can invest in the book. And I always recommend getting 2 copies, one for you and one for your significant other. Great holiday gifts. Okay. Number 1, this friends first. We recommend that you work on your friendship. Great marriages are built on great friendships. That's the foundation. That's the base. Great marriages are built on great friendship. People who like each other, not just for their looks, their possessions, but they like each other. So friends first. Number 2, make God an equal part of your marriage. Marriage is a triangle with 3 corners. One corner is husband, other corner on the bottom is wife, top corner is God. That's how we run our marriage. And he's an equal part of the marriage. He participates in decisions. We base it on his dictates and his directions, and we filter through what would God say about this. Okay, so make God an equal part of your marriage. Number 3, talk. The number 3 is decide to make it last. Love is an emotion. Marriage is a decision. You decide to get married, and you decide to stay together. Look, emotions change. They're in and out, up and down. They change. So you must decide. It's a decision. Now, does that mean you're always going to be all up in love? No. But you decide, and you work through it. And I told Dee had been married before. I told her, look, you can get out of this marriage. And the simple way you do that is die. You die, you're good to go. Other than that, we in this for till death do us part. Because we all say, we all take the vow. For richer, for poor, for sickness and health, and better for worse, till death do us part. What's better? What's worse? What's richer? What's poor? What's sickness, health? That's the decision. So decide to make it last. Then number 4 is talk about everything. Talk to each other. Communicate. You got to communicate. You got to communicate. And here's the quote I use. Communication in marriage is like oil in your automobile. And it can be messy to handle, but without it, your engine will run poorly and eventually lock up and bust. So even though it can be messy, keep talking. Keep talking to each other. Chapter number 5, leave the drama with your mama. We often hear about drama queens, but there are also some drama kings. Men who have drama. And we say when you were a child, you thought like a child, you acted like a child. But when you grew up, you put away childish things. Leave the drama alone. Drama alone. Dr. Clarice Fluid, who has been married for almost 60 years, said she has counseled countless couples and seen all sorts of drama. Dr. Clarice Fluid says, love is blind, but marriage is an eye opener. And so you got to make a decision to leave the drama alone. Look, you got to leave, cleave, weave. Leave your parents' home, cleave together, and then weave a new culture. You don't have to go and say, that's not the way we did it at our home. Or my mom and daddy didn't do it that way. This is your marriage now. It's the 2 of y'all coming together. And leave that drama alone. Make your significant other feel significant. Gentlemen, as often as you can, make your significant other feel significant. I do it all the time. Every time I speak, I talk about how my wife, when I mention her, I get weak in my knees. Women love that, but it's true. I talk about her publicly and privately. I tell her that she looks good. I make her feel significant. Here's what I said last week. If you treat your wife like a queen, she'll treat you like a king. Treat her good. Treat her with love and respect. Treat her like a queen. I'm telling you, gentlemen, put her on a pedestal. It's good. Be considerate. Speak well of your spouse in public and private. You know, I've heard people, one guy make a joke, this is my future ex-wife. What kind of stuff do you, that's not funny. I told that dude, stop doing that. Stop saying that, man. That's not funny. Because you're speaking into your marriage and you're making your wife, she might nervously giggle at it, but that's not a positive thing to say to your wife. No. And then work on forgiveness. My doctor says that marriage is two imperfect people trying to perfect forgiveness and consideration. All right, so agree about disagreeing. We're going to have disagreements, but that's why I want you to watch the TED Talk so you get the system on how you deal with disagreements, and always settle your issues before you go to bed. The Bible says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. How to handle stalemates. We talked about it last week, how my mom and dad would be in a car before we had roll down, electric windows. We had the roll down type, and he had a 56 Chevy, which was his little jalopy he liked riding around in. He had a mirror on the driver's side and rear view mirror up here, but nothing over there. So when we were on a highway or something, he'd say to my mom, can I get over? She'd roll the window down and say yes or no. And he would respond according to what she said, because she was his trusted advisor. My wife is my trusted advisor. I take great weight in her counsel. I listen to her. So I'm encouraging you to have a system for stalemates. Now let's get to the one everybody wants to talk to. Chapter number 8, sex, headaches, and other lies. In the book, there's a quote that says, love in marriage is an ice cream sundae with all the marvelous coverings. And sex is a cherry on top. Sex, headaches, and other lies came from my friend Jane Herlong. She said her mama told her on her wedding day, she said, baby, let me give you a secret right now. Don't you ever forget it. She said, yes, mama. She said, don't you ever have a headache when your husband wants sex. Never have a headache. Because when you have a headache, there's a woman somewhere with an aspirin in her pocketbook. I love that quote. So this is the chapter that we got to talk about. Sex is a big part. Let me read this. This book is entitled Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. Now, we have primarily talked about how to make it last, but one of the most important parts of making a marriage last is about making love. And making love often, now not always, often involves sex. That's one of the things we got to talk about. So let's talk about sex. Sex is a powerful and important part of marriage, but it gets out of balance. If it gets out of balance, it can destroy your marriage. One way couples see that it gets out of balance, and when they think of sex as all you need to have a great marriage. This is simply not true. No matter how great the sex is, there has to be more to keep a marriage healthy. No one stays in bed 24 hours a day. Life demands family time, working, eating, sleeping, exercising. Marriage is a multi-dimensional experience. It is a friendship, love, respect, companionship, intellectual stimulation, laughter, and much more. Gentlemen, let's talk about sex. We had a couple of years ago who we coached, and They argued all the time. They argued all the time. We had a dinner with one, and the husband came, and when the wife came, they started arguing when she got to the table. I mean, but when they started talking about sex, everything, ooh, that was their one good point. Well, that marriage did not last because all they had going was sex. But we are telling people you got to have more than just sex. Now, gentlemen, listen to me carefully. We get more women who have a similar complaint. My husband does not think of me as anything other than a sex object. In other words, they say that they might work, the husband might work. They come home, they cook the dinner. They get the kids in bed. The husband comes home. He's working or has worked all day. Then at the end of the day, she's tired. He come into bed and say, "You ready? You ready?" Tap him on the shoulder. "You ready?" What? And they don't like that. But many men do that. Not understanding that there has to be some give and take in this, gentlemen. It has to be give and take, like helping with some of the chores or helping with the kids or helping with something in the household. And then I said over and over and over again, if you want some action at night, you need to start working on it in the morning. And look, you got to start working on it in the morning. Send them a nice text. Tell them how much you're thinking of them. When you see them, tell them how good they look. Work on it. When Dee is here during the day, I might take her a cup of coffee, or I might take her a smoothie, or a little treat, something during the day. I'm working on it all day long. Now, of course, some of you don't work with your spouse like I do, but you can still think of ways to send her a nice text, talk to her, call her. "How you doing? Everything good? Okay, great. We're just checking in. I'm thinking about you." Little things. Why is that important? Gentlemen, most men don't know this secret. Women need two things. And they need two things desperately, seriously, magnificently. They need two things supersized. They need intimacy and security. Let me say that again. They need intimacy and security. Now, most time men might think that intimacy is sex, but that is not always the case. That's why I said sex is a big part of the marriage. And yet, sex is more than just the physical act of sex. It's intimacy is a part of the process. Intimacy, making them feel warm on the inside. Gentlemen, if you master this skill, your life is going to be so much better. Intimacy. And then security. So many men I know go through drama at home because their wives are insecure. And you know who made them insecure? The husband. Or they might have come with insecurities because of past experiences, past relationship. But the husband feeds those insecurities, feeds fans the flame. Look, if your wife is insecure, you're going to have problems. Period, full stop. That's it. If they're insecure, you're going to have problems. Your job is to make your wife secure. Your job is to make them secure. They got to have security. They got to know you got them. I got you. I got you. Whether it's financially, whether it's more ethically, socially, that you got your arms wrapped around them. I got you. They need security. Women need security. Now, men might say, "Well, I need security." Yeah, you do. You want to feel secure, but women, this is a need that is deep. Now, that's it, because some women might be listening. Let me tell you what men need. Women, just for those who might be women, men need two things: sex and respect. Sex and respect. Studies show that men think about sex 17 times a day. Sometimes 17 times before breakfast. And so men are hardwired to think about sex. It's part of that. They need food, they need water, they need air, and they need sex. And then they need respect. They got to feel like I'm the man of the house. I'm the big daddy. I'm the man of the castle. I'm the king of the castle. Men need that, lady. So make them feel respect. I saw how my mother-in-law. My dad died when I was 13, so I wasn't conscious of their dynamics of my mom and dad. But as I got married, I noticed how my mother-in-law, she ran everything, but she made my father-in-law feel like he was in control. He was the king of the house. Now she ran everything, but she gave him respect as the head of the household. And she ran everything. He gave her carte blanche. And I realized how they were yin and yang. They just flowed. It was fantastic to watch them. And I adopted that mindset with Dee. And our marriage is very much the same. She makes me feel like I'm the king of the house. And I let her run everything. She runs everything. Runs the household. She keeps everything going. So, men, this will give your life great joy. Intimacy and security. Intimacy and security. And remember this, women are like crock pots. They are slow burners. If you want them hot, you got to start in the morning and let them warm up during the day. Men are microwave ovens. Push a button, they ready. Boom, ready to go, okay? But women, so don't come up there talking about, you ready? No. How you doing? Talk to them. Have communication. It makes a difference. Intimacy versus sex. Men need sex and never use sex as a weapon. This is a big one. Men nor women. One more thing, men. Temptation. We have so many marriages that break up because men stepped out. Now, occasionally women do, but temptation, we see it so often with men who step outside their marriage, and then it just starts to fall apart. My friend, the late great pianist Kevin Toney, who was a founder of the Blackbirds, wrote a book based on his life experience. He grew up in a house where his father and his uncles always told him, you always have a chick on the side. It's called the Men's Code. And initially in his life, as a musician traveling around the country, he did the same thing. But then one day he got found out. It was a big mess. And they almost divorced, but they went to counseling. And they both got into their church, accepted the Lord, changed their thinking. And he became a minister, helping men break the men's code. He wrote a book about it, Breaking the Men's Code. And one of the things we tell men is you've got to ask yourself 4 questions. When you got temptations, what's the best that could happen if I take this opportunity? What's the worst that could happen? What's the most likely thing to happen? Am I willing to live with the worst to get to the best? Let me go through it from my personal experience. When I was traveling one time, when my wife wasn't able to travel with me when my kids were in school, so I would travel by myself. And one time I was speaking at this place. I don't remember where it was, what state or city it was. But I remember it was an evening event. It was a big ballroom. I was speaking. I spoke. I sang. And it gave me a standing ovation. And then I went to, after meeting and greeting people, I went on to my hotel room. A little after a while later, the knock on the door, and I thought it was maybe room service, something. And there was this woman, this beautiful. I mean, boom, boom, bam, bam, just glamorous. She said, you moved me so. I had to find out which hotel room was. And I understand that you're here by yourself. Would you like some company? And I thought about those 4 F's. What's the best that could happen here? Well, if they have a one night stand, it could be woo, woo, wow, wow. What's the worst that could happen? I could lose my wife. That's the worst. What's the most likely thing to happen? Have a one night stand, never see her again in my life. Am I willing to live with the worst, lose my wife, to get to the best, a one night stand? No. Answer was no. I said, ma'am, oh my gosh, I'm so honored. I'm so flattered, but no, thank you. I appreciate your offer, but I'm good. Thank you for it. And I'm glad you enjoyed tonight's presentation. Thank you very much. And that was it. Now, gentlemen, I'm encouraging you. Don't let temptation destroy your marriage. Don't you worked hard to get this wife. You worked hard to stay married. You've invested. So take time to listen. Take time to be sweet. My friend Jerry Jazanowski, who was my tennis partner, said, remember the 3 S's of a great relationship. When you find a wife who is sweet, smart, and sexy. Said he was on a plane with a man, and the man said he'd been divorced many times and that marriage just doesn't work. He said, it works for me, sir, but you got to understand, you got to deal with your head, your heart, and then the other part. Her heads, be sweet. I mean, be smart, be sweet in your heart. Sweet, smart, and sexy. And put those together, you got a great wife. All right? Next one. Oh, my, this time is flying. Always date your mate. Gentlemen, always date your mate. You should have a weekly date night. We have a weekly date night every Thursday night. Date your spouse. Romance her. You romanced her when you were dating her. When you got her, keep it going. I date my wife. I take her out on dates, but we have a standing Thursday night date night every week. Every week. 9 o'clock. Years ago when my kids were small, we would watch LA Law and Hill Street Blues, and we've continued. Sometimes we go to Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart and just walk around holding hands. Sometimes we go to a movie. Sometimes we just go out to get a quick bite. But we have a weekly standing date night. Or we just stay here and we watch Thursday night shows. She likes Matlock, this new show Matlock, and Elsbeth. Now, I can watch it or not, but I watch it with her because that's our date night. So have a weekly date night every week. Hold hands. Hold hands, because when you hold hands, you hold hearts. And then tell your wife you love her every day. Sometimes you won't feel it, like saying it. Sometimes you don't want to say it, but say it every day. I love you. Did I tell you? We got to think. Did I tell you I love you today? Let me tell you what it does. It reinforces your wife, and then it encourages you. It conditions your heart. When I say I love my wife enough, I'm believing it more and more each time I say it. Faith cometh by hearing. So we do that, and we say every day, I love you. And we're in it to win it. Okay, we're here to win it. Then the next one is count the cost. Money matters. Money breaks up marriages, gentlemen. And some men make the mistake of not taking advantage of the brilliance of the woman they married. They say, well, my job as the man is take care of all the bills. And they now don't let their wife in on any of the financial matters. Now, that's gallant. Okay, I get that. And that's the way that people used to do that. But this is new day. We got smart women. Smart women. Not that the ones who weren't, but we got smart women now, educated women, highly educated women, functioning in high areas of corporate America. Take advantage of the gift that you've been given. My wife handles all the books. She does the taxes. She does the finances. She cuts the checks. She does all of that. And I trust her because she's brilliant. And so I encourage you, gentlemen, to make sure you take full advantage and that y'all talk about the money. Talk about the money. We had a situation where a gentleman died and the wife didn't know where any of the bank accounts were, where anything was, because he never let her in on it. Let your wife know. And sometimes you need to tell her we're struggling here. We got to work together. We got a financial hole we're digging out of. It's okay. We talk about it all the time. Andrew Young, John Hope Bryant said, men or people, particularly men, fail for one of three reasons. For ignorance, arrogance, or pride. Ignorance, arrogance, or pride. And so if you don't know something, ask for help. Ignorance, arrogance, that you don't know, but you think you know. He who knows not that he knows not, but thinks that he knows is a fool. And then pride. Pride comes before the fall. Don't be so proud that you don't I'm willing to ask for help. Oh my goodness! I hope. Let's see. We write at 9:30, but I'm going to ask if anybody got any questions because I want to make sure. And look, we're thinking about having a Valentine's Day event. Valentine's Day is on a Friday. We're thinking about having an event on that Saturday for couples. If you're interested, would you email us at info@williejolly.com? We want to see how many people are interested so we can start to maybe get a hotel space and all of that for Valentine's Day. So that's the 15th. 14th is a Friday. 15th is a Saturday. The 15th. Let us know. Info, info at Willie, WILLIE, Jolly, JOLLEY.com. Okay, what else? Have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great Thanksgiving. Also, go to jolleymarriage.com. We have a special class that we taught, series, a 5-series class on relationship repair. We encourage you to invest in your relationship, get the relationship repair series, watch it together with your significant other, and go through the lessons. They are communication, sex, finances, family matters, and blended families. What we learned over the years about those areas. That's at jolleymarriage.com/events. jolleymarriage.com/events. Hope this was good for you all. Hope you enjoyed it these 2 weeks. Well, my wifey will be back next week, but I hope the men got this, and I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving on purpose. May God richly bless you, and may heaven smile upon you. We look to see you next week. Have a blessed and a safe Thanksgiving. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. We're going out with the music from my jazz album, one of the songs, Close to You.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.